my system 1-1.
Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. This is, of course, the, I guess, sequel, if you want to call it, to the DS game of Clubhouse Games. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what's here. Let's go ahead and start with just single system, one player. So this game, you can look at, this is all the, I guess, games there are to choose from. This globe thing, this is just a weird thing that they got here, where you can take a look at what random people have. I think there's like built-in game suggestions. I don't know why you would necessarily want to do that unless you're just bored. But yeah, these are game guides, so you can like, these are what other characters of the other, yeah, they're just built in these characters to give suggestions on what games you should play. And their location is kind of tied to the games they suggest. You know, it's Japanese games or whatever. Then you got, you create your own character when you first start up the game. To just, this is what we got here. This is what I just picked. They ask you to pick a favorite food and your heart's desire. Latest record. What's that supposed to mean? And you can choose like what you want to recommend to other people. Because you know these are like actual other random people that, as you can see, a lot of people just they don't even fill out recommendations like I haven't. But also latest record. These people look like they haven't even played anything. Or maybe they only play multiplayer. Maybe there isn't a record thing for a single player. And then there's like, you can search by like people that share your same favorite food if you really want. Or your similar medal count if you want to see what people... What? How's this similar medal count? You got 0. I got 138. Oh, cool. So you can even check out your records. You can see all the games and personal best. These, of course, will only count in single player mode. Pretty sure multiplayer mode's not going to track any of this. Medals. I'll explain what those are in a minute. As you can see, I don't have all of them. I don't think I'll ever get all of them. It's a similar situation to the DS game of... these are kind of like the missions to do in the game. So... trivia, these ones I will get eventually. You just play the games and you unlock trivia. And you can see how many times I've played each of these games. It's only got like the last 10 I've played or something. Multiplayer count. I wonder if that's online or something, because I've definitely played local multiplayer. Anyway, let's get back to the actual games. So as you can see, there's a bunch of returning games. I guess I can just quickly go over them. Mancala, this is a completely different game that is brand new to this collection.
Mancala is all about planting.
Each game, when you select it, it'll play this sort of skit video where they kind of explain how to play. This is actually an interesting game because you pick up a batch of beads and you have to place one in each of the following locations going around in a circle. And depending on where you end, different things may happen.
Yeah, the goal is to collect the most stones in your store.
So like if you end by dropping a single gem into an empty spot, you get all the gems on your opponent's side added to your collection just instantly.
If you drop your last stone in an empty pocket, it's capturing time.
Yeah, that's what they're explaining there.
Hey, you can take your opponent's seeds. Nice.
So you can, of course, skip it. As you can see at the top right of the screen, there's this symbol to let me know I can skip it by pressing X.
The game ends when one player runs out of stones in their pockets.
If one side of the board gets filled or emptied,
So whoever has the most seeds
your opponent still gets all the beads on their side just added to their collection.
How does
It just
all
ends the
work,
game
you ask?
by.
We'll figure it out as we go.
Said the grasshopper to the ant.
So here's the thing. These skits that play in the beginning of or before each game, sometimes they explain the rules, sometimes they're just funny skits. So it's kind of entertaining to at least watch them the first time. So yeah, these are the medals, as you can see. These are kind of like the missions of the game. Most of them are just like beating the computer at the highest difficulty. You unlock difficulties as you beat them. So I mean, it'll start as normal, and you won't get hard mode until you've beaten normal. So you can't like just beat the hardest one and get all of them or anything. And then trivia. These things unlock just by playing the game. If you just play a whole game, you'll unlock one piece of trivia. So to get all the trivia for Mancala, I had to play it 5 times. No big deal. So let's go head back here. Here we got dots and boxes. This is literally the game of drawing lines around on a piece of paper
Don't
to
think so. Where's the board?
you
And the pieces.
complete a
All I need
box
for this
and
one?
you get points.
Yacht Dice.
This is basically Yahtzee. As you can see, you got a scorecard. You just kinda roll the dice
instead of cards.
And pick how you want
Now you
to
rolled.
lace the dice. 4 in a row, literally connect 4.
4 in a row.
You can see right here, that's the game board.
Hit and blow.
Hit and blow. This is an interesting kind of puzzle game. I wouldn't really say it's multiplayer. It's more like cooperative, if it is multiplayer. So it's kind of like a secret code thing
It's a
where
game where you guess at a set of hidden pegs.
every
Oh,
white
fun.
peg that shows up at the top.
how it
So you put in your 4 colors that you want. At the top there will be white.
brown
That
peg
just means you
means you
have
have
the
the
right
right color in
color
the right
in the
spot,
line
like a
somewhere.
direct hit.
If it's red, it means you
Thank you
have
so far.
a color
A white
in the
peg
exact
means you've got
set.
the right color, but in the wrong
spot.
place, or a glancing blow.
So this means you have all 4 colors
So the
right,
goal
but
is to,
only 2
within
are in the right
8
place.
guesses,
Exactly.
figure out what the
Let's
combo
assume
is.
red's in the right spot.
And like the order matters, so it's not even clear like which one is in the correct spot, because they'll just
What
put
happens
the
if I
red
try
pegs at the
this?
not pegs, but the dots at the top. See, like he moved things around, but
tell us anything?
2 of them are in the right spot, 2 of them
well,
are just the right color,
What if I switch them
but you
around
don't know
like
which
so?
one. So it's kind of just like a puzzle in that way.
9 men's more.
9 Men's Morris. This is an interesting game where you
Long,
put a
long ago,
marble
in
down in
land
a spot.
far away,
You alternate
a
going back and
Roman
forth, putting them down.
empire
If you get 3 in a row, then you get to take
Roman
off
rulers
one of your
gathered
opponent's
in the
pieces.
Senate to
And after
debate.
you've placed all your pieces, then
There,
you just start moving them
send
like
their
one
proxies out to
adjacent
speak.
space where the lines are connected. It's kind of a weird game, but it's interesting.
If 3 proxies could line up in a row, they would
You'll
all
see right here.
shout in unison.
Yeah, just like that.
Mill!
And then you get to take off an
Everyone
opponent's
agreed
piece.
that the argument was very convincing.
And as you can see, they're telling sort of like a little bit of a story with their skit here as they're trying to introduce the game. But yeah, as you can see, there's the optimal strategies. You get 2 lines of 3 in a row
Led the Senate in disgrace.
that you can fill in back and forth. If you do that, you just keep winning, basically. Hex. This is you connect from one side to the other by placing down pieces, you know,
That's where we come in.
as you just
My road's
place
gonna
pieces.
stretch from
You just
there
got to
to
connect
there.
your color to the other to your color on the
I'm
other
gonna
side.
Get from here to here. Wow,
As soon as they start
we're gonna
putting down
ruin
pieces,
this
you'll see.
field. Yeah, but I'll ruin you first.
There you go. See, that's what it looks like. You just start putting down pieces.
Quit.
Interesting game. Here you got checkers. Everyone knows checkers. Hare and Hounds. This is a
Hare
weird
and
game.
Hounds.
you're either the hare or the hounds. The hounds can only move forward, up, and down. They cannot go backwards. The hare can move any direction, but you can only move along the lines connecting those circles. So you can't go diagonally like the center spot can go to like any diagonal, but the one left of center cannot go diagonally down right, you know what I mean? So it's just a weird game. Gomoku, this is like
Gomoku.
Connect 5 basically on a flat playing field. You just gotta connect 5 in a row. This was in the Ultimate Board Game Collection on Wii. I do not... No, wait, I think it was also on the DS game now that I think about it. I'm forgetting already. Dominoes, interesting, of course. Chinese checkers. Ludo, we know what this is. This is like Sorry or whatever. You just kind of like roll around the board. It is kind of like a roll and move game, but if you get a 6, then you can choose whether to move your piece that's already on the board or take a piece out of the starting area. Also, there are rules you can always change. So starting threshold, just to start the game, no roll, or you have to roll these 3 times, or just roll once. Blocking, I believe, yeah, this one was just beat the CPU. Not even, there's no difficulty setting because it's a roll and move game. You know, there's not much difficulty to do, but you do have to play it 4 times if you want to just unlock all the trivia. Goal conditions exact over okay. This is like when you're rolling to get into the end of the game, you know, if you need to get an exact number roll or if you can go higher. And then when the game finishes, you can wait for everybody to finish or just when the first player finishes. So, and you even got like a how to play option. If you really want to look at this, you can read the rules of the game. And like these are like, this explains like those starting options. Also, blocking is whether or not you can pass somebody. That seems like a weird rule. Of course, if you get exact, then you get to knock them off, send them back to the beginning. Backgammon, Renegade. This was known as something else in the DS game.
I know.
It had a different name.
We have a long and troubled history.
But yeah, this is the game where
All you gotta do is flip your opponent's pieces by placing
you connect
yours on
a
either
piece
side.
to the other side of
it
your
feels like
color,
I always
and you
end up
get
losing
to
at the last
flip your
minute.
opponent's pieces in between them.
Are you-
Chess, we know what chess is. Shogi, I think I explained in the DS game review. Shogi's like a Japanese version of chess. It's got some similar pieces, but
Shogi.
I like a good game of chess.
so
but
you can
I don't
play
know
with this
shogi.
like international
Game of war.
labeling
The
where they've
ultimate
got,
goal
of course,
is
the original
regicide.
characters on there, but it's also got some Roman alphabet
This
characters on
is
there,
the
so you
king.
can see, like, the B is a bishop. You only get one bishop,
What are the
and the
pieces
R is a
around
rook. You
him?
get one rook. The L is a lance. They all have different
They all
movement
move
options. And as you can go into the game, like, you can have without the stuff. They even have a learn how to play series where you just, like, complete some things to finish. Now, if we go into this, I'll show you. This exists for like chess and checkers,
Shall we
where if you want, you can turn on an assist, and there's different levels of the assist. You can have one, which just simply shows you where that piece can move. And I mean like the white dots on the board. That shows you where you can move. Because if I don't have it on it, you know, you just can't see anything. And it also shows you like where that little drawing on the left there shows you like your movement options. And then there's another level of assist where it actually shows you where you can move safely. Because once I get up here, now you can see this is like red and blue, saying that there is a way red can get me if I move up there. My opponent can get me if I move up there. Otherwise, you can see all of my movement options. So that's a nice feature where you can do that. Also, this only exists in local play, but you can undo moves. You can just undo as far back as you want. However, if you do play online, you know, undo is not available, of course, because they don't want you to have games go on forever. And if you're playing locally with someone, you can kind of rationalize between each other if you really want to allow someone to undo a move. So yeah. And there's an R to just resign if you really want. But yeah, let's go ahead and
Surrender.
Here's an example of trivia. Did you know that in Japan, Nintendo still sells real shogi boards complete with pieces? Wow, I did not know that. So yeah, that's the thing about the trivia. Sometimes it's like actual facts about the game, and sometimes it's just random facts about sort of parallel to the game. Like that Nintendo sells shogi boards. Like, the most common mistake in professional matches is attempting to double pawn. I don't even know what that means, but like that's not necessarily a fact about the game's history or anything. It's just around the game. Alright, so mini shogi, it's like a smaller version of the game. Hanafuda. This was known as koi koi in the DS game. And that's because there's a move where you say koi koi, but
Hanafuda.
yeah. Let's go ahead and address, here's a Mahjong. Last card, this is basically Uno. And let's, let me see. This probably won't apply to this game. Yeah, it won't. Blackjack, Texas Hold'em, President, this is also known as Scum in some places. Sevens, Speed, Matching, you can literally just a card matching game. War, Takoyaki, this is a weird game where you kind of don't really have any decisions, you just kind of draw cards. But with the card games, at least with the traditional card games, you do have an option to use regular classic cards or this Mario design, and this Mario design is something you can unlock. But that kind of brings me to a difference with the DS game. The DS game had a bunch of skins you could unlock for every game it had. In this game, you unlock like the Mario cards, and that's just an automatic unlock. Once you unlock the Mario cards, you can use them for any card game you got, including Hanafuda, which doesn't use traditional cards, but they've got their own Mario set. This game is simply you draw from the deck, and depending on the number, you draw from the pile here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, an ace counts as one, and if you don't get something you can draw, then you end your turn. So it's really completely luck-based, no decisions to be made. Face cards are worth nothing, and so if you get unlucky, you just lose. Oh my gosh. Oh, I get to draw one. Oh. Combo. Ah. So if he draws an ace, he wins. If I draw any of those missing... Ooh, Joker is a wild. Man, having face cards underneath my piles really hurts me. So yeah, as you can see, there are these Mario cards where they just got these decks here. And what's interesting is that, ooh, I just won by getting 2 Jokers. What luck.
Time to eat.
What's interesting is that these Mario cards exist in real life already. Like I have a deck here. So yeah, this one was just defeat CPU. You didn't have to like change difficulty because there is no difficulty. There's no decision making. So yeah, trivia, you just play the game 4 times. That's how that works. Pig's Tail, this is an interesting game. It did not exist on the DS1. Let's go ahead and just jump into it real quick. This game, you draw from the pile here that's fanned out. You can pick whatever card you want. And as long as you don't draw 2 of the same suit in a row, you're fine. If you do draw 2 of the same suit, you have to take the pile. Now, it doesn't end there. You can also place cards from your collection if you really want to. And it's sorted out by suit for you because the numbers don't matter, it's just the suit. And the benefit of doing that is, of course, you don't have to draw from the center ring of cards, because once all the cards in the center ring are gone, the game ends, and whoever has the most cards loses. You want to have the fewest cards to win. And then the strategy of when to throw cards down from your collection would simply be, I don't know, the game's getting close to the end. If I throw down a 3 right now, that would kill me. And of course, you want to get rid of all your cards eventually, but... oh man. There we go. Now I'll start drawing from the center because I want to end the game because I know my opponent has a lot more cards than me. Of course, there's a lot of luck in this too, but... and I'm gonna win if this is not a spade. Alright, there we go. Game ends. And I win. So yeah, that was just to beat the CPU because there's not really difficulty. You can really do too much with that. You can change first move, change some rules, read how to play. Golf. So here we got, so these are like all the traditional board games up here. Now we get into more non-board game things. Well, there's a couple more board games actually. But here you got golf. Like this is literally just an overhead view of the course.
Let me show you how it's done.
You're represented by just a golf club over there. I believe you get 3 clubs, like a driver, maybe a sand wedge and a putter.
Nice.
I think that's
Clean
just
shot
the
right down the
clubs
middle.
you get. And there's wind you
My
can
turn,
look
huh?
at. It's pretty traditional golf game. However, there are only 9 holes. You can play 3 holes at random. Like you can choose which hole you want to start from. Or you can set it to random. You can play 3 holes, play 9 holes. Those are your options. And of course, I think it's multiplayer. We'll have to look at that next on what's multiplayer. Billiards.
Billiards.
This is cool because
Now that they're
you've got the option of playing traditional 8-ball or 9-ball, and then simple rules, which is just simply hit any ball into the pockets. Oh, you can turn on and off the numbers. Yeah. That's whether or not you have numbers is only for the simple rules, because the simple rules is you just hit balls in. Doesn't matter what number you got. Bowling.
Billiards.
Actually, let's look at this real quick, because I want to just show how it gives you the ability to make plays. So you angle left and right like here, and then it even shows you like what's going to be the effect of your hit. Ooh, I got the 9-ball in. And I think the way this is set up is that the first things you hit in... Yeah. What you hit in with the break doesn't count towards anybody's score. If I just hit this now, it's not going to do much. So yeah, the 9-ball is just out. Now we start getting points, and it kind of automatically rotates all the balls to be face up, so you can see all the numbers. And I don't think... yeah, it doesn't go by... oh, I guess it does go by... never mind. So yeah, now that we've hit another ball in... so the ball that I hit in on the break didn't count for anybody. but the computer hit in the 12, so now they are 9 through 15, which is stripes. And so I am now solids, even though I hit in that 9, which was a stripe at the beginning. It didn't count for me. That was just what the computer wants to do. It's nice that you get like these little guidelines to sort of show you where the ball is going to go. It doesn't show you, of course, the complete trajectory, but you get a pretty good idea, which is helpful. Because, I mean, if you were there in real life, you could kind of look around the board to see the angles of what's going to happen. Now you don't have to completely guess. It's just nice to have the option here to see how all your hits are going to affect everything. What? Was that a bad sound I just heard? Foul. Did I hit in Oh! I think I hit the opponent's ball first. So yeah, that was a foul. Anyway. It also creates bookmarks, as you can see. You can resume the game right there. Bowling is interesting. You got challenge bowling, which is interesting. It kind of sets up the pins in weird ways. You can play 5 frames, 10 frames. You can have bumpers on and off, which is fun. But yeah, if you play challenge bowling, you can play with touch controls or motion controls. I am docked, so I'm just gonna play with motion controls. So this one, they set up the pins for you in fancy ways. The way that you play is you simply set the ball where you want to go, hold R. Oh wait, you can rotate the direction with Y and A, as you can see on the screen there. You simply hold R, and Wii bowling is different because you kind of release the B button when you throw. This game, you do not release anything when you're going to throw. You hold R, pull back, and release, and roll forward. So that was a bad throw. Oh, but this is just challenge bowling, so I'm just going down the line of their pins that they set up. Wow. That's what happens when you throw a ball sitting down. So yeah, that's bowling. Pretty self-explanatory. Can't go over every game. Darts is fun.
Darts.
Because, like the DS game, you have to use basically touch controls to throw things, which is not intuitive. It's really hard to play by simply rubbing the screen. Here you get a nice option of throwing. You get to hold your Joy-Con kind of like a dart. You literally grab it, pull it sideways, and then you toss it forward. And you get 3 turns, and you can kind of aim where you're gonna throw. Wow, I got 3 ones. And you watch the computer go. Of course, these are all multiplayer. I believe it's limited. As you can see, the really best spot is right up there. Because the ring around, the smaller ring inside is like triple points. The outer ring is double points. So like the bullseye's 50, but if I get that red spot below the 20, I get 60. So that's really the best spot, not necessarily the bullseye. There we go. That's the real best scoring spot. Anyway, we don't have time to look at everything. Carrom, this is kind of like, I guess it's kind of like Billiards, but with little discs instead of balls. Or they explain it's like marbles. You gotta get your colored pieces into the holes, but the interesting thing is you can only shoot from the lines on the side.
This is the striker, right?
So yeah, you can only shoot from those sides. You can shoot in any direction, of course, but you can only shoot from that line.
So I'm playing white, huh?
if they'll
Here
go ahead and
goes.
hit the ball. Or puck. Yeah.
Good break.
So that's how it works. And your opponent goes from the other side. And that's how it goes. The queen, there's like a queen
This
piece,
one's not either of our colors.
Oh, that's the
which is weird. I guess it's worth more. I don't really know
Queen?
how much more, because every time I won, I had the queen and all my other pieces in first. So I don't really know how much it determines the winner.
Got it!
great job. Now you have to.
No problem.
Also, you're supposed to hit one of your own pieces in after you hit in the queen to keep it, I guess. Weird rules. And then here you got some toy games. Toy tennis, soccer, curling, and baseball. And these are interesting because it's
Toy
like...
tennis.
Let's watch that intro. So you got like a... It's basically like a little
My serve!
toy version of the sport that you could realistically play in real life. You know, just like in your home with a little toy thing.
Gotcha!
And I got that for soccer, boxing, baseball, curling.
Toy curling.
That's a little different. It's got like a little board.
Whoever's
You just kind of
closest to the
throw
net.
your pucks across, and whoever's closest to the center by the end of the game wins. And you get like a bunch. So yeah, you just keep going.
Aw,
It looks like there's slowdown or some frame rate issue with this playback video, which is weird. I don't know why.
Oops.
But yeah. Air hockey, of course, is a fun game. And this is probably one I would recommend playing on
No. but
touch
you're going.
controls, just because you can hold your puck literally with your finger. We'll show off that before we end the video. Show off
If you put
what the
your
game
face-
looks like in a handheld.
Okay.
That and speed. Speed I would also suggest playing with like touch controls, just so you can grab stuff. Now here's some more interesting games.
Slot cars.
Slot cars is literally what you think it is. You can do the 3-track circuit, or you know, pick a single track to play. Let's go ahead and check this out. So the way that you play is you just hold any direction or button to accelerate, and you just kind of go around the track. Of course, if you go too fast around a turn, you'll fall off. Just like this. Oh, the carrot fell off too. Oh, so yeah, there is you can feel a little bit of rumble actually in the controllers, on the Joy-Cons at least. So you can get a sense of like when you're going to go too fast. Oh wow, I'm getting lapped up here. But other than that, you just kind of have to learn how fast you have to go before you fall off. I believe that one's also limited to just 2 players. Also, there are only 3 tracks. You can do all 3 of them in a circuit. And then there's the mosaic mode, which I can't test out because I don't have
Kids,
multiple
You got
switches.
your heart's desire. Toy slot cars.
But if you have multiple switch systems, you
brought mine
can
too.
set a bunch of them up to have
If
bigger,
you're first,
more unique
what-
tracks. Because, you know, you can change the orientation of your switches to just kind of
Just gotta swipe.
make your own. I mean, you can't customize it completely, but you can change the shape of the track at least by moving your switch systems around. Now that's basics. That's a very basic outline, but as you can see here,
they don't have to be in.
they don't have to be lined up. You can flip them around. They can be different distances apart, and it'll just detect. By your swiping, it'll detect where the systems are, and it'll create a unique track for you,
Course for true pros
which is
only.
really interesting.
Now
It
that's
looks like you can
my
play with up to
heart's
4
desire.
people too. The local play with the basic tracks, of course, these are only 2-player. You have to have multiple systems to play more people. This one was, you know, a bunch of beat the CPU on different difficulties. But yeah, that is something. It's also good with fishing, is there's a mosaic mode. I mean, there's not really a whole difference playing there because fishing is just fishing. It's like any fishing minigame you play. You know, you throw your line in, and when the fish bites, you reel it in. You know. Toy tanks. Battle tanks, I guess.
Tank versus
There's
tank.
two different versions. There's
Let's go.
the regular battle tanks where you just kind of face off against an opponent. And then there's the team tanks, which is you and another player kind of go off against the computer in 3 different courses. So again, there's only 3 fields here to play against. Same thing with team tanks. It's just multiplayer mode. You hit play first in order to go to the selection of battlefields. There's only 3 stages, you know. But this game also has a mosaic mode, which means if you have more systems, you could create more unique fields. Shooting gallery. Oh man, I haven't even tried this one out yet. But it's a game where you shoot down targets. Six-ball puzzle. This is like a falling, stuff falls on the screen kind of puzzle game.
Yep.
You get
Ready,
6
go!
colors touching each other, all connected, and it'll clear them out, as you'll see right here, the blue. And then there's also special shape combinations you can make. Like there, the hexagon. It'll illuminate all of that color on your board and then throw a ton of stuff on the opponent's side. So the opponent only gets stuff thrown on their side if you create the special shape. And there's more than just hexagon. There's like pyramid, the show shape, yeah, the hexagon, pyramid, and a line, a straight line. So yeah, there's all those options. Sliding puzzle. This is a weird thing where this turtle is like moving along the track and you just slide the pieces around of the board. So you want to try to get to pick up all those gems, of course.
Oh, pick up more. No sweat.
So it's kind of just difficult to try to get all the gems collected. And then you go for high score and you can play with a rabbit, which just makes it go a lot faster. Doesn't show my high score on this screen. So yeah, you just pick a spot and it only has one way to slide, so you just kind of slide things around. You know, if you ever had one of those sliding picture puzzles, it's kind of like that, but more difficult. And you can even speed it up if you want to hurry up to your failure. Max combo 3. It doesn't show my high score? So I got a... Oh, there's my high score. Personal best, 620 with the turtle. You collect all the gems, and then it'll refill the board so you can keep going, basically. It's kind of endless, but you got medals for just getting the 300. And there's Mahjong Solitaire, Klondike Solitaire, which is regular solitaire and spider solitaire. And then this doesn't count as a game. As you can see on the board, if you were to count all these up, it'd be 51 plus the piano. And of course, I guess the globe and the person up there. But the piano is literally just that. It's a piano. There's no like medals to get. In fact, this one can't really be shown off unless you play undocked. Hold on. You can, of course, create a mosaic mode for this if you want like a full piano. Probably the least justified reason for buying a bunch of switches is to play piano mosaic mode. But let's go ahead and switch to undocked real quick. So as you can see here, you've got the piano, which you can play. If you want to just come into here, it's literally just that, a piano. And then if you turn it around, flipped upside down, it becomes a synthesis. But it's very sensitive. It literally has to be upside down. For it to be counted as a synthesis piano. You can change the levels here. You can change the key, I guess, or how high or low you are. But it only works with the synth piano. If you're on the regular piano, that option is not here. So you have to have mosaic mode if you want to play more than just these keys on the regular piano. But I'm not even like trying to flip it back upside down. Look, I didn't flip it or anything. It just flipped back because it sensed it wasn't upside down, which is kind of difficult to use. Like, you're supposed to play this by holding it upside down to play. That kind of makes it difficult. I mean, I guess you could hold it like that to be upside down and then play it that way. And then it's like right side up for you at least. But, yeah. Let's go ahead. Whoops. Let's go ahead and back out of this and go to air hockey.
Air hockey.
Skip 5-point match. So as you can see here, now I can like literally, whoops, I'm blue. I can literally grab my puck here to play, which makes it a little more interesting. If you want to play like local 2-player game, you could have yourselves both literally pressing your puck with your finger. And of course, that's kind of, you know, part of the fun. Oops. Anyway, let's go ahead and end this. Same thing with like speed. This is one game I would recommend by playing with touch controls, just because, you know, if you want to really kind of move your pieces. I do have this move. And it'll just throw down cards when there's nothing you can do. And it'll tell you at the bottom of the screen down here if you can't do anything. Joker. That's a wild card. 5. Oh. Ugh. Oh wait, couldn't I have... Uh-oh. There we go. So yeah, that is basically the collection of games, as you can see here. If you do want to play multiplayer locally, I mean, you can play any of these games online. If you want to play locally, there is some limitations. Single system, multiplayer, you can choose more people, but you do have to have... The game will require you to have a controller for each person playing. Because once you go into this screen, if you try to play more than 3 people, you know, it'll ask you to connect controllers. Go back. Or if you have 2 people, you can play with Joy-Cons, play with touch. And then, of course, your game selection is limited to these games that are colored in. So you can't play like just any of the card games without a multiple systems. You can, of course, play speed because you don't have any hidden information. Any game where you have hidden information, you can't play locally, which is... They could have gotten around that with some games. Maybe not the card games, because that would really slow down the pace, but you could have it where the Ultimate Board Game Collection I showed off a couple weeks ago, that had Battleship. And the way it worked was each person set up their board, and then when you went into play, nobody could see their pieces. You just played by firing on the other person's board. And then in this game, they could have done that with like, I mean, you technically could do that with like a card game. You just have to have a screen that's like blank in between turns that says like pass the controller to another person, or at least with like handheld mode. Obviously, if it's on the TV, everyone's going to see it. But if you're playing handheld, you could technically, just have it be like pass the controller to this person. But whatever. As you can see, the limited options here. Oh, you can't even play bowling with touch controls. Let's go back. Single system. 2 players, Joy-Cons. Get my controllers connected. So yeah, there we go. Now you can see, you got a little more selection if you use Joy-Cons. You can play all these games because they don't have hidden information. I believe, I don't have enough controllers to test out all these games, but I believe, I've heard that bowling is only 2 players at most. Like even if you have more controllers, you can only play 2 people for some reason. Now let's go ahead and dock this one more time. Online, if we want to play a game online with anyone. Yeah. It suggests you learn how to play these games before you go online. Now this is a limited selection if you want to play online. You can't play every game online, but you can play a lot of them online. Let's see, what would be one I'd be interested in playing? Let's go ahead and play Speed. Oh yeah, you select 3 games that you're willing to play. What else is quick? Sevens. Blackjack. So then it'll search for players. And it'll pick one of those 3 games that you're interested in at least. We got Blackjack. So you just literally play the game online with randoms or with friends. And that's pretty much really all there is to say about it. If you have any questions about the game, let me know in the comments and I'll answer them, anything I know. And other than that, I guess if you have any suggestions for more mini-game collections, that's what this really is. Let me know about those in the comments too. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh. Freaking house got blackjack. Game's rigged.